Hey, Sal. Hey, Raven. I was going to do it. And yeah, so this is the time. I have to just be honest. I told Yvette earlier, like, I'm just worried, like I've never really put myself out there the way I did today. And aside from folks, saying to me like, all right, so I'll pin the comments as I answer the questions. How did you feel when you left that interview? So Mrs. Woods, 08, when I left the interview, I really felt really unsure because I felt like Shannon was playing in my face, and he eventually turned the corner, but then at the end of the interview, like, he just kind of like went back to kind of like being like, I don't know, just kind of like chilling. Me and Shannon were flirting. Ma'am, if you don't get all the way out of here with that bullshit, please don't insult me. And that was offensive. That was highly offensive. And it makes me wonder if you know when people are flirting with you. So when I left the interview, I just was very like kind of not sure how it was going to play out. And I knew that he had played himself in the interview in a number of ways. And so I knew that he would, they would probably edit some of it out. So that's how I felt. Have you seen his prior interviews? He's very welcoming and bubbly. The door is open. Folks talk uninterrupted. He allows them to be a safe space. The producer told me I would be in a safe space and told me, I would be supported. So that's what I expected. He didn't behave with me like he has not behaved with anybody else like he did with me. So that's why I did the interview. Okay. Any other questions? You know what? I don't feel like it showed so it's weird when we talk about like truth, right? Like, so yes, like I got to speak honestly about certain things, but I don't feel like it showed my truth because it showed me in defense mode. And I don't exist in defense mode. So, it put me on my heels a little bit where I felt like I had to, just kind of do a lot more explaining, and it was a bit exhausting, like mentally. So, just like I had to really like kind of manage the interview, and that's really different. Now, it's beautiful, like, when you get to do interviews where you really get to just be, like, you feel like you're liberated in the conversation. And to be honest, when I did the Jason Lee interview, like, that's how I felt. Like, the Jason Lee interview just felt really, I mean, like, he's going to throw some messiness at you, but he didn't press you on it. And it just didn't feel like I was having to, really use, like, all of my syntax, like, all of my synapse to like navigate. But nonetheless, and I feel like something I learned from watching it was that I have a tendency to, like, my mom is very pessimistic. Like, she'll always go the negative route. And I saw it play out on the episode because there were times where he would ask me a question and I would be about to give like a positive answer, but then he would throw a negative spin on it. And then I would just follow that lead. And that is something I need to be more mindful of, just in the future in general, because I shouldn't be letting somebody like lead me down that road. And so I need to be more, just mindful of that. No, there will not be a part 2. So many of y'all have been on my head like, don't you ever go on that platform again. So I will. I will not. Oh, thank you, Entertainment Takeover. I appreciate you. I did have regret because I felt like I had made a big mistake in like sharing so much and just being so kind of just my full unmasked like honest self. And then that turned by the end of the day because I'm trying not to look at comments, but I was looking at the DMs and so many of you all felt so seen in the interview and you felt like you had somebody that was speaking your truth. And so that made it all the worthwhile, like completely made it all the worthwhile. And, yeah, so no, I don't regret it anymore. In the beginning of the day, like I literally had to step away from the radio show and cry and come back because I just felt like I was so hyper focused. I literally didn't eat today. Like I just realized this. I have to go eat. So I'm doing this quickly because I realized I have to go eat. I did not eat today. I had like some almonds and some pretzels with almond butter. So I've OD'd on the almond. Yeah, the pivot definitely would have been a dope option. Did you feel listened to fairly? No. But I also don't want to sit here. I don't want to sit here and like, I don't need sycophants either, but, yes, there were some things cut out. It was cut out when he said to me, it seems like you think that anytime someone doesn't agree with you that they're racist. And I said, well, I mean, it's too early in this conversation to say that. And he said, no, I said, like, what in this conversation would make you feel that way? And he said, well, I feel that way because you just talked about autism being racism and you just talked about your teacher being racist. And so then I explained the racism attached to autism diagnoses and why it's like so difficult for people to get clinical diagnoses from like, because it's like $10,000. And also because as a Black woman, you're oftentimes misdiagnosed. And then they cut out where I said to him, like, didn't you leave your last job because of racism? And he was like, and they also cut out when I spoke about Palestine, even though briefly, they cut out when I spoke about Palestine. And they cut out at the end, he was asking, no, I have not been clinically diagnosed by a doctor because I'm not paying $10,000 to do that. And most people will tell you that at this age, you don't need a clinical diagnosis in that sense. And I think that's the other thing. It's like, we are so conditioned here in this nation to really only consider something in one kind of way. And I will get back to that. The other thing that they cut out is he was saying that what's it called? Hold on. He was saying that I guess Caitlyn Jenner said basically that she said like good riddance, I guess, when OJ died. And he was asking me about that. And I said, and he was like, how do you feel about that? And I was like, I mean, I don't really know, but he was like, I just don't think we should celebrate when people die. And I was like, well, I mean, when the Queen died, I definitely was like, good riddance. And he was like, oh, I'm just not that kind of person. I just not that kind of person. I wouldn't do that. And I was like, so you telling me that if you went back in time and you had the capability to see your former enslaved, your people's enslaver, put in the ground, you wouldn't do a little fist pump? He was like, nah, I wouldn't do it. I wasn't raised that way. I said, shit, I was. So that was that. No, I won't be here when I get back. So I am really ADR. Like, I really was like, I'm going to talk about this today and I will not talk about it again. I will not talk about it again. I will not. So that's why I was like, let me hop on this thing and do a little talking. And give people, more space and energy around it, because I'm not going to do it anymore. Oh, that's what's up, Key Locked. I'm really glad that happened. If there's if you have any more questions, so for some reason you can't, when badges are on, you can't put questions on the screen. So all of y'all who left questions in the little question bubble, just put it on the screen. Seeing a black man, listen, this was wild. This was wild to me, because I was like, I can't make that make sense. I can't make it make sense. I was really flabbergasted by it. So, I know, right? I really want to do this show with Jeff Foxworthy, like just us in a boat fishing, talking about, just America and our different experiences. Like, I really, like, Jeff Foxworthy was really super kind. Like, and we did have conversations. Like, it was really dope. Yeah, I do. Do I think people feel intimidated by you? Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it's like uncomfortable, and it just makes it feel like you got to do shit to make people feel comfortable. And then sometimes you do shit to make people feel comfortable, and then they feel some type of way that you're doing shit to make people feel comfortable. So it's like you can't win. And I just don't think that I should be labored with that. What? Remember you had me try a lamb samosa in Sonoma, California? I don't remember that. Of course they're intimidated because y'all are funny. I did, right? I really was like, boop, 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 boop. I don't feel trapped in the system anymore. And I feel like this interview really helped me to like propel myself out of that system too. I meant it when I said, like, I burnt bridges today, and I did that on purpose. And I burnt bridges yesterday too. Like, well, they had already burnt the bridges. I just, sparked the last timbers of it all, because I'm just not having it no more. I've been on antidepressants for, I think, 2 months now. And my experience has been really great. I feel like it's just allowed me to handle things better, and it doesn't affect me in a way that I don't feel like I'm on medication, but I definitely feel like I'm more regulated, and I was having a really hard time doing that. Yeah, I would absolutely do Sherry, Jennifer Hudson, or Tamron. I've done Tamron before. I spoke to Tamron the other day. I've never met Jennifer, but Sherry is the homie too. But I just need to take a break from just being in the mix like that. And I'm gonna be on this tour, so get your tickets. That's really it. My goal in the entertainment industry moving forward is to not be a part of the entertainment industry. I want to just be liberated completely. I want to exist as Amanda Seales. Like, I don't want to have, I don't even want to have this title of comedian or actress or etc. Like, I just really want to exist as Amanda Seales, and like folks are just kind of going along with or taking in, just the different creative ventures that I'm putting out there as they see fit. And that's what I really want to do. I don't want to exist within any of these boxes that I had to put myself in order to make it make sense. Hey, Robert. And like Robertson here, we went to purchase together. Like, he know me 20 motherfucking years. Like, I've always been that person, like just a multi-hyphenate, and I really feel like I want to go there. And yes, I really want to sell my art full time. Thank you so much. And that is something I am definitely driving towards. And Papaya said, I feel this interview vindicated you tonight. I've been telling my wife you're the truth forever and won her over with your honesty. Thanks. Usually it's the opposite. Usually it's the wife trying to win the husband over, trying to tell them to get on the Amanda Seales train. But I appreciate that so much. And tell your wife I said thank you. Well, it's not that I get scared or doubt my opinions. I mean, I think it's just that I'm always ready to admit when I'm wrong, even though people love to say I don't take accountability. That's just fucking not true. Like, I will say, hey, like, I used to think such and such, and now I know XYZ, and so now I think such and such. And the thing about it is that people want you to do these big, grandiose declarations of apology to them as individuals, because somehow that makes them feel like they need it, and it's not about you as an individual. So my opinions are grounded in research. They're grounded in information. Like, I'm not just speaking about shit out my neck. So I don't really have a fear about my opinions, because I don't speak them, I don't speak them gratuitously. All right, I'm going to take 2 more questions. Hey, Gary. Will you share your ways of living off your art? I'm just starting out. I need to speak a certain way. And the need to speak is going to be a better way for people to receive me. But at the end of the day, if I am being inauthentic, then that is not the goal. Like, to me, I am a beacon of authenticity. And that is really what I'm here to be. And I don't have time to do all of that dancing when there's so many other places to put my energy. So no, I don't have a disconnect from my self-perception and public perception. I'm watching the interview. I'm like, well, yeah, I could see why people would watch this and say I'm unlikable, because I'm unflinching. I'm unflappable. And that is very, and I'm intense, and I'm on my defense because someone is coming at me, and I'm having to cut through the fucking haze and the bullshit that they're throwing at me. So I really appreciate the people who watch that and like could see what was going, because they could see that, oh, like, this is somebody who is, being tested and is really keeping their cool and their calm, and not being unwavered and not being moved. People are saying I'm whining because those are the people that don't feel like they have a voice. And so it is frustrating to see me have a voice when they don't have it. And so they'll just try and write it off. And then people will say, well, why does she have a voice? Like, why does she always talking? Why is she complaining? She doesn't have struggle, blah, 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 blah. And that's just not true. I do have struggle. Um, listen, if I exhibited everything that I'm exhibiting now as a man, this would not be a discussion. If this, if I exhibited everything I did now as a man, y'all would be like, this is Malcolm X. Y'all will have pictures of me like framed in your house. Facts. Y'all would be like, we found our next leader. The feds would be like on my head. That's why I ain't dead yet, because I'm not a man. If I was a man, the feds would be on my head like, oh, we got to get her out of here. We got to get her out of here. We got to get her out of here. So, and because Yvette Nicole Brown is who she is, she sent me screenshots and nice comments. She's like, I hope you see in these kind comments. So, will he air the episode? What are you talking about? So I'm going to go eat, and I have to, just kind of watch some cartoons. I'm going to watch X-Men. And I just appreciate y'all. If you haven't got your tickets to see me on tour, go to amandaseals.com. The Unlikable tour is out here, okay? And all these shows should be sold out. Every single one of them. Am I done with acting? For the time being. Yeah. This whole town can kiss my ass.